Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. This is your Manchester United versus Villarreal preview. It's at Old Trafford, it's Wednesday night, 8 o'clock kick-off. It's the Champions League group stage. It's our second game of the group. Manchester United need to get revenge on Villarreal, because last season Villarreal beat Manchester United in the Europa League final 11-10 on penalties. Don't forget De Gea missed the penalty and he cost us. Now we are in a bad run of form. We have lost 2 home games in a row and haven't scored one single goal in our last 2 games. We have lost 3 games out of our last 4 in all competitions. So reflected on that, Solskjaer is under pressure. Obviously we lost to Aston Villa at the weekend 1-0. That was Aston Villa's first win at Old Trafford in 12 years. We lost to West Ham in the Carabao Cup 1-0. That was the first time West Ham won at Old Trafford since 2007. And we also lost to Young Boys 2-1. And I heavily criticised Solskjaer, because Solskjaer was accountable for that loss against Young Boys, because the tactics were wrong and the substitutions were wrong. Now Villarreal, their manager is Unai Emery. He's been Villarreal manager for over a year. He's got a contract with Villarreal until 2023. Unai Emery has got a good pedigree behind him. Obviously won the Europa League with Villarreal last season. He won quite a few Europa Leagues when he managed Sevilla. He also won trophies when he was manager of PSG. Unai Emery also managed Arsenal. He got Arsenal to the Europa League final, but he didn't win it at Arsenal. Arsenal sacked Unai Emery after 18 months. Villarreal haven't enjoyed a good start to the season. They are sitting 10th in La Liga. I think they've got some injuries. Gerard Moreno, he's out with injury. He's not expected to feature in this game. That's a big loss for Villarreal, because Moreno is one of their key players. Juan Foyth, he's also out with injury. He's not expected to be involved in this game. Villarreal got Juan Foyth from Tottenham. Chukwueze Eze, he's been out with injury, but I think he's back in training. Danny Rabah, he's also out with injury. So I think they are Villarreal's injuries. They've got Francis Coquelin suspended. Villarreal have also got Pau Torres. Now, he's definitely one of their key players. He's a good centre-half, is Pau Torres, don't forget. Manchester United have been linked with him before. I think he'll be in contention to play in this game. Now, Solskjaer will probably make 2 or 3 changes from the 1-0 defeat to Aston Villa. As you all know, Maguire and Shaw went off injured against Villa at the weekend. Solskjaer revealed that Harry Maguire and Luke Shaw will undergo scans to assess the injuries. Marcus Rashford is still out with injury, but Rashford is close to returning because it did say the other week that Rashford looked sharp in training after injury shoulder operation. But will look much better when Marcus Rashford comes back. And Amad Diallo is also out with injury. But this is a must-win game for Manchester United, because if we have another couple of bad results, then the pressure will mount even more on Solskjaer. I'm still convinced that Manchester United can get to the knockout stages of the Champions League despite us losing our first game of the group to Young Boys. Wan-Bissaka, he won't be playing in this game because he's suspended. He got sent off against Young Boys for stamping on Martins, and like I mentioned, that did change the complexion of that game. Our next league game is Everton at the weekend. Now, is Solskjaer losing the fans? Like I said to you this morning, Man United fans are frustrated with Solskjaer's playing style and his selections. Solskjaer's job is safer than ever, despite us losing 3 of our last 4 games in all competitions. Our board have got a lot of trust in Solskjaer. Obviously, in this year's summer transfer window, Solskjaer received very good backing. John Murtough backed him. John Murtough is our director of football, and we made the right decision getting a director of football in, because I did mention that's one of the structural changes we needed at the club. Also, Darren Fletcher backed Solskjaer in the summer transfer window. We made the right decision recommending him back in, and surprisingly, our owners, the Glazers, backed Solskjaer. Man United did enjoy a very good summer transfer window this year. We made 4 signings. We brought Tom Eaton in on a free from Villa, brought Jadon Sancho in from Borussia Dortmund, brought Rafael Varane in from Real Madrid, and we re-signed Cristiano Ronaldo after 12 years. In the summer transfer window, we spent around 141 million. In the summer, Solskjaer signed a new contract with the club until 2024. There's an option of a further year. I think we made a mistake giving him that new contract, because I can assure he won't see out that contract. There is Man United fans that are demanding Antonio Conte in to replace Solskjaer. Agbonehall has come out and said that Man United must sack Solskjaer and appoint Antonio Conte. Well, it said a few weeks ago that Antonio Conte would accept the Man United job if Solskjaer was to be sacked. Conte wants a winning project. So he's rejected Arsenal and he's rejected Tottenham. Conte has got a good pedigree behind him. Won a lot of silverware in his home nation. Also managed in the Premier League before. When he was in his first season at Chelsea, he won the Premier League. Conte is available because he left Inter Milan at the end of last season. I think I've been hearing some Man United fans saying they want Zidane in to replace Solskjaer. Solskjaer is not the long-term manager for Man United, I can assure that. Solskjaer has to win a trophy this season to basically save his job. Ole has not yet won a trophy as Man United manager. We haven't won a trophy since 2017, which is nowhere near good enough to our standards. The other week, Solskjaer did mention we must leave a legacy of silverware. Solskjaer's ambition for this season is to win the Premier League. We haven't won the Premier League since 2013. That's 8 years ago now. Man United have won 20 titles. 13 of them are Premier League titles. We've got a title winning squad, so there's no more excuses. Solskjaer mentioned a few weeks ago that he told his Man United squad that it's better than the 1999 treble winning team that Solskjaer was part of. This season is Solskjaer's third full season as Man United manager. And I did say at the start of this season that this season was going to be massive for him because he's got big expectations to exceed. Solskjaer has managed over 150 games as Man United manager in all competitions. Solskjaer has been Manchester United manager now for almost 3 years. In December, he would have been in charge for 3 years, and Solskjaer has learned quite a bit on the job. But there's still plenty of things Solskjaer's got to learn because he's still a young coach. And Solskjaer's gained some managerial experience, reflecting how long he's been at the club. Ole has no proven pedigree as a manager. And he's not the man that's going to get us to that level where we want to be. Before he was with us, he was at Molde. He won a few Norwegian titles at Molde, but they're not a big club. He enjoyed 2 spells with them, and before then, he was at Cardiff, and his record at Cardiff was absolutely disastrous. The reason Solskjaer got sacked from Cardiff is because he got them relegated. And before he's managed the Man United reserve team, so he watched some of the team grow and develop. Disregarding Solskjaer being a legend of the club, I don't think he'd have been Man United manager now. Because we've endured very, very bad periods under Ole where he's been very, very close to getting the sack. But yeah, with Solskjaer being a legend of the club, that's what's basically saved his job. One of my big concerns about Ole is his decision making. Because analysing the vast majority of the games he's managed at Man United, he's been tactically naive. Progress has been made under Solskjaer, because obviously in his first full season he got us to 3 semi-finals, and then in his second full season he got us to the EFL Cup semi-final, got us to the FA Cup quarter-final, and got us to the Europa League final. Last season that was Solskjaer's first major final as Man United manager. So there you go. And last season we finished second place, and in Solskjaer's first full season he got us a third place finish. So this season Solskjaer's looking to build on what he produced in his first full season and his second full season. You know, we've got a very good away record in the Premier League. We haven't lost away from home in the Premier League since January 2020. We're far better away from home than we are at home. So at home, we've got to replicate what we're doing away from home. I've got to credit Solskjaer though. I've got to turn around and say he has done a pretty good job to say the current squad he was left with when he got appointed in as Man United manager. I didn't expect him to do as well as he has done, so in that aspect I am shocked. Despite me criticising Solskjaer a lot, I still think he's our best manager since Ferguson, because in certain aspects he has brought consistency back. Solskjaer has signed 14 players as Manchester United manager so far, and we've spent like 441 million under the Solskjaer era. Solskjaer's endured 5 transfer windows as permanent Man United manager. Ollie's also got rid of a lot of players since he's come in, which he knew he had to do. I like the way Solskjaer develops the youth as well. And Solskjaer has more or less given everybody their chances to express themselves, including the young players. We did appoint Solskjaer in December 2018 to replace Mourinho. He's been permanent Manchester United manager since March 2019. But like I've said to you before, when we're inconsistent and when we've been inconsistent, not all of the blame stems from Solskjaer. He's accountable for certain things, but obviously there's certain players that have had to take responsibility, because there's still certain players at Man United that are not good enough to represent the club. And I don't like the way the football club has been run for a long time. Like I've mentioned, the Glazers, they've been one of the biggest issues at the club for a long time. The main reason is because they've put Man United in so much debt. The Glazers have been at Man United for 16 years. They purchased the club for 500 million back in 2005. But to be fair, the Glazers backed Ollie in the summer transfer window. You know, Woodward, he's been one of the biggest issues at the club for a long time. Because obviously Woodward was accountable for how poor our recruitment policy was for so long. Plus we've overpaid for players in recent years. Woodward should have never been put into that position in the first place, where he makes the footballing decisions. Woodward's leaving Man United. It got announced he was leaving back in April when that European Super League came into the equation. Woodward's had a 16-year association with the club. But Woodward has said on several occasions before that he'd back Solskjaer, and he assured that Solskjaer's job was safe even when we was enduring them bad periods. Man United are going to sell players next year. I'm expecting us to sell Anthony Martial next year. Martial isn't good enough to represent the club. Martial did play against West Ham in the Carabao Cup, struggled to make an impact. A couple of chances fell to Martial, but he didn't convert them. His finishing was poor, and for the vast majority of the game, Martial looked isolated. Man United are ready to sell Anthony Martial in January. Man United value Martial at 40 million. Now Barcelona are considering making a move next year. Martial has been a long-term target for Tottenham. And I think he's open to joining another Premier League club. Last summer, Atletico Madrid were linked to a Martial, but he's finished at Manchester United. Solskjaer was actually the one that gave Martial that number 9 shirt. Martial has been at Man United for 6 years. He's got 3 years left on his contract. Martial has scored 78 goals in 264 games in all competitions. And we got Martial in a deal worth 58 million from Monaco back in 2015. He's had 2 good seasons at Man United. He was good in his debut season under Van Gaal, and he was good the season before last. Last season, Martial was out with a knee injury for a while. Donny van de Beek, we need to offload him next year because Donny van de Beek isn't getting enough game time at Man United. And I've said to you already, Solskjaer needs to start Van de Beek in the Premier League. He didn't play any part against Aston Villa. He played the full 90 minutes in the defeat to West Ham in the Cup. And Van de Beek put a very good performance out to his credit. He played against Young Boys in the Champions League, but he got taken off at half-time, and I heavily criticised Solskjaer for that. Because Van de Beek was our best player in the first half of that game. Don't forget Solskjaer rejected Van de Beek's exit because it said Everton were close to signing him on loan. Many clubs have been in for Van de Beek. Was it last week Don Hutchinson came out and told Donny van de Beek he must leave Man United to save his career? And Paul Ince said the other week that Donny van de Beek has absolutely no chance of staying at Man United. A few weeks ago, Van de Beek told Solskjaer his best position. Van de Beek reckons he would be best served operating as a number 6 or as a number 8. This season is Van de Beek's second full season at Man United. He's a good player, but I haven't had much of a perception on him at Man United. We got Van de Beek in a deal worth 40 million for Marks with add-ons included. He's got a contract with Man United till 2025, and he's versatile. He can play in 3 different roles. Lingard, we need to offload him next year. Lingard didn't play any part against Aston Villa in the league, but he played against West Ham in the Carabao Cup. Had some good chances but didn't convert them. Should have got a penalty because he got brought down by Mark Noble in the penalty area. He was greedy on the ball in that game though. Lingard came off the bench and scored the winning goal against West Ham in the league, and what a goal that was from Lingard. Prior to that game, Solskjaer says Lingard will be a Man United player next season. And he said he's read through and through. Lingard's current contract at Man United expires next year. A few weeks ago, Lingard rejected a new Man United contract offer over playing time concerns, despite him being in the last year of his deal. Last season, Lingard enjoyed a 4-month loan spell with West Ham, and he made an impact. Earlier on this season, Solskjaer did confirm that Lingard remains part of his plans. Diego Dalot, good chance we'll offload him next year. Dalot is obviously our second choice right back. Dalot obviously played against West Ham in the Cup last week, put a very, very good performance out. Dalot obviously was out on loan last season with AC Milan. Obviously gained some experience with him being on loan with AC Milan. We got Dalot 3 years ago from Porto. We paid 19 million for him. Dalot's got a contract with Man United till 2023. Phil Jones, good chance we'll offload him next year. Phil Jones has always been inconsistent and he doesn't get in our 11. This season is Phil Jones' 11th season at Man United. So he's been a long servant. He's the only outfield player that's still with us from the Ferguson era. Jones came back from injury in that behind closed doors game against Burnley earlier on this season. And he was part of the squad for the game against West Ham in the Cup, but obviously played no part. He said when the summer transfer window was open that Phil Jones is set to stay at Man United this season after Solskjaer told him he remains part of his plans. Eric Bailly, he's another one we could offload next year. I hope not though, because Bailly's a good centre half. Obviously played in the Cup against West Ham. He put a very good performance out. That was his first start of the season. Bailly's not going to get obviously much opportunities, obviously with the arrival of Varane in the summer transfer window, but I just think Bailly is good as a backup. So if Varane or Maguire get injured, then Bailly is the plan B. My element of concern about Eric Bailly is injury prone, and we could offload Tellez next year because he doesn't really get into our team. And there's other players as well I want us to get rid of. I want us to get rid of Fred because he isn't good enough to represent the club. McTominay isn't good enough either, despite him having some good games at Man United. Matic, should we offload him next year? Some players, will leave in January. I'm expecting some to leave at the end of the season. There's a good chance Mata will leave at the end of the season when his contract expires. Earlier on this year, Juan Mata signed a 1-year contract extension. And Cavani, he'll probably leave at the end of the season. Unless he was to leave in January, I think Barcelona are considering making a move for Cavani in January. Barcelona try to get him on deadline day in the summer transfer window. I can't say I want Cavani to leave because he's made an impact since he's coming. Cavani really, really has. He's just come back from injury not so long ago. Back in May, Cavani signed a 1-year contract extension and he's on over £200,000 a week. So there you go, and we've lost one game in the Premier League. That defeat to Aston Villa was our first defeat of the Premier League season. We'd enjoyed a very good start to the Premier League season as well. But yeah, like Solskjaer's come out and said, hopefully we can bounce back from these defeats. We've got to have a good performance against Villarreal and we've got to get a good result. It will not be an easy game now. And Everton won't be easy at the weekend either. On my next video, I'm going to be giving you some news on Sancho. Probably talk with you a bit more about Solskjaer, and then after that one I'll be giving you my predicted 11 for this game. So anyway guys, that's everything to update for today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again soon.